This content is brought to you by Uphold, which is one of the top crypto platforms out there, which allows you to easily buy, sell, trade Bitcoin and the top altcoins in the market. Uphold lists 260 plus cryptocurrencies. They also allow you to trade precious metals such as gold, silver, palladium, and platinum. I've been a user of Uphold since 2018, so I can vouch for this platform. They have full transparency reports and they don't commingle or lend out your funds. They also have a great product called Vault, which is an assisted self-custody product. Vault allows you to maintain custody of your funds, and the keys are split. So Uphold holds one and you hold two. And if there's any issues, if you lose one of your keys, Uphold will help restore these keys and you can maintain access to your funds. It's 24/7 instant trading. It's trustless. So this is a great feature that can give you peace of mind where you don't have to worry about if you lose your private keys and much more. So if you'd like to learn more about Uphold, please visit the link in the description. Welcome to the Thinking Crypto podcast, Crypto Water Cooler Series, episode 13. I have my co-host David, who is from the Next Block YouTube channel. David, good to see you.
Yeah, man, it's good to see you as well. And obviously, we have a ton of stuff to talk about because crypto never sleeps, and the market is just now starting to get really, really hot.
Yeah, man. I know we haven't done one of these maybe in a month because things had cooled down, but now we're starting to see a ramp up again. Bitcoin ETF flows are increasing. Meme coins are going crazy. Celebrity meme coins. There was like a report, it came out from the block saying meme coins in Solana last month, there was over 500,000. That's crazy tokens launched, which my mind is blowing. How is there so many tokens being launched on Solana?
I mean, you look back, I was actually reading an article and you look back to, Binance Smart Chain, right? Because that's really the play, I think, that you're seeing Base, Solana kind of play on, as far as like, game plan wise, right? I mean, Binance Smart Chain was the chain to really just create a token out of thin air, create a community around it, whether it was a meme like Shiba Inu at the time, which took the world by storm. And then there was tons and tons of other ones. And I think Solana and Base and some of these other faster, cheaper chains have really just taken that, and because it's cheaper, right? And because it's faster to create these tokens. I mean, even on Base, I mean, I'm not heavy into Solana memes. I know people who are, but most, like, there's literally applications where it's like one click and you can create a meme, like, and you can create a token. So that just was not the case last cycle, especially if you were on Ethereum, right? I mean, you actually had to have some capital, especially with fees, and you had to know some things as far as the developer experience, but those boundaries and those kind of like ceilings are just gone. So that's why you have this 500,000 almost or 500 million, tokens being created in just a short amount of time, and it's dwarfing what happened last time, is because the barrier to entry is gone. The knowledge that's needed is gone. Anybody almost anywhere in the world can create a token. And for Solana's case, most of these are meme coins, so they don't have to have utility, right? They can just be something funny. And obviously, if they catch on, like a Boden or a Trump, or some of these celebrity ones, right? Mother, I think, was Iggy, is it, her meme coin, like, you can make some, they can have some crazy runs.
Yeah, man, it's wild, right? Because on one hand, like you mentioned, it's the ease of use and making it super easy, and it doesn't have a lot of friction for people to be able to do that. I love that. And that's the technology has to get to that place for mass adoption. The meme coins, some of them, not all of them, I could live with, without. I found the Boden and Tremp tokens
Yeah.
hilarious. Like Kraken yesterday just listed them.
Both of them. Those are
Yeah,
going to go off come the elections and the
ex
debates. Like, if you're
exactly.
holding them, like, obviously not financial advice. I'm not going to tell you to go buy these things, but I was on my show last week saying that, like, there will be winners, right? There will be ones,
Yeah.
in these meme coin things that just take off and continue to take off. And honestly, I feel like hedging a little bit on some of these political memes, like the Elizabeth Warren ones and Gary Gensler ones, and the public figures that, when they say something stupid, stupid, or when they get in these big debates, I would not be surprised. I mean, there was a video of the guy who really, I think, is pushing Boden on, at least on socials, as far as TikTok and Twitter and stuff. He was like trying to get Trump. He was like there physically in front of Trump as he's like at a meeting trying to get him, say Boden, say Boden. And it's like, I would not be surprised if in these big debates that these meme coins don't get brought up somehow. And you already know that if they do, the numbers are like they're going to pump so hard during those things.
I can see Trump bringing it up. Like, my coin
Yeah.
is better than yours.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, but yeah, Biden will be lost. Like, I don't even know if he'll even know where he's at, but Trump will for sure bring it up because he knows he's on the winning side as far as most crypto investors go.
yeah.
And so I think he knows that that's a winning thing he can lean into. Whereas Biden, I mean, he cemented his stake, I think, with vetoing that bill. And I know we'll get into some of that talk, but that was a huge, I don't know. I think he severed a part of the community there that maybe would have voted for him, that are one issue voters in the crypto space. And so it'll be interesting to see how he continues to evolve, as these debates come and as crypto becomes a bigger topic, and especially with more and more, adoption happening with ETFs and stuff like that. It's just, it's going to be interesting to see where he sides.
Yeah, and it's funny because in addition to that, there's with the crypto vote, right?
Mm.
There was reports that Democrats are losing younger people in general. And I'm not trying to be political, but these are the facts.
Yeah.
And if more younger people are participating in meme coins and crypto, and Donald Trump plays to that, it's a smart political move. Once again, you could hate or love Trump, but the point is being aware of what's happening in the world and meeting people where they're at. So if you're trying to get like the more younger vote and steal it away from Democrats, I think Trump would be smart, like he's doing, supporting crypto, and then bringing up maybe the meme coin, say, like, my meme coin is doing better than yours. This is politics, right?
Yeah. And you still have to think like we're still so early when it comes to crypto, especially with all these coins now being launched in the hundreds of thousands per month, it seems. And a lot of them are garbage, right? Are going to go to zero. You have to be smart. And if you don't, you're going to get wrecked if you're just aping into these things and following someone's advice on YouTube blindly. But, there is an extent where these can be leveraged for your benefit as a politician, as a presidential candidate, if you're running and you're trying to gain that traction. But it is interesting though, because the voters, right, and the people who are out here, they still don't even really know what crypto is. I've seen many videos of people walking around public interviewing just random people and saying like, hey, would you rather buy, this token and it's the picture of Arbitrum's logo, or, it could be Binance's logo, and they'll spit out all the facts, right, of what this chain does. Or would you rather buy, dog with hat? Most people are like, I'd rather buy dog with hat. Like it's a very interesting, part of the cycle, I guess you could say, that we're in, because I think back to what got me into, crypto. And it's funny because we're going to talk about some of this with GameStop, Roaring Kitty, and all that stuff. I was mostly in stocks. I had no idea what crypto was back in 2019, 2020. And I started, I was really, I started seeing GameStop, right, and AMC pop off. And I was like, what the heck is going on? And then I started seeing, meme coins and stuff on crypto. People were just feel like they were throwing money and it was just multiplying like crazy. And that's kind of what got me in. And we're literally seeing it happen again. But I think the main difference this time is the barrier to entry. It's easier to onboard. Like it's easy to self custody. It's easy to, and even right now with Base launching their smart wallet today, that's just another way that the new people coming in are going to have an easier way to buy crypto, put it in their wallet, self-custody those assets, and then be in DeFi, NFTs, meme coins, you name it. And it's just a whole different ballgame with how the barrier to entry has been lowered from a technical perspective. So that's why I think the mother of all bull runs is coming, because as retail gets in this time, it's just going to be a lot easier to pull them in and to get them excited about, the creator economy and a lot of the things, whether it's gaming, NFTs, finance, like you name it, like the building blocks have already been put there. And now all that's waiting is liquidity.
I did want to ask you before we move on. obviously we mentioned celebrity meme coins. You got Iggy Azalea, and I don't hold any of the mother tokens. I mean, I do enjoy some of the videos she puts out for
Right.
obvious reasons, but um, but if there was a celebrity who created a token, which celebrity token would you buy if maybe your favorite celebrity?
Man, that's a I feel like I'm so I don't even know like awake. I don't even know if that's the word, right? Like I don't follow pop culture. Like I don't like there's no like music artist that's like on the scene, right? Like I'm very like low key with like the artists I support and things like that. I feel like if it was anybody, it'd probably be like an athlete of some sort in either the
Sure.
NBA or the NFL. Like I like there's certain people that play like if TJ Watt, I'm a Steelers fan. If TJ Watt came out with a meme coin, I'd probably buy that just because he's a cool dude and I should trust him to some extent. But for me it's like I feel like it'll be interesting once these celebrities start buying into some projects that are already out there and just seeing what they pick, and things like that. Like there was one I was in, it was on base called Ski, and it was just the picture of a ski mask with the dog. And Camilla Cabello changed her Instagram profile picture to that one, and that
Uh,
was like maybe 2 months ago. She still has it as that, and so there was rumors that maybe she's dropping a song with it in it this summer with Drake. I don't know. We'll still have to wait and see what comes out, but I'm sure there's some aces up that their sleeves there and what they're doing. But you really just have to be careful because most of these
yeah.
celebrities, they're not doing this stuff. They're just and they're probably they're maybe not even tweeting about it. Like they have social media managers. They're just
Right.
told what to do, and so that's why like I said, you can make money. Like Mother for Iggy, that one blew off, and if you were early, you made money. But you have to know that like these things giga rug fast. Like
Yeah.
when the tide goes out, like these things are the first things to go, and you just have to be, you can't get lost in the idea that like, oh man, this thing is the next Doge or the SHIB and it's going to billions.
Nope.
Chances are it's not. It's going to zero, and you need to, if you made money, get out. But there, like I said, there are also meme coins that I think could become, big winners in the space, but you just have to do your due diligence and really stay connected to it, I guess.
Yeah, great point. Now you had mentioned the Base Smart Wallet, and I know you've been doing a lot of stuff on Base with meme coins. How have things been going? You seen more adoption, and tell us about the Smart Wallet.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously the smart wallet just launched today, right before the show. I created one, which was interesting. I didn't have to get a recovery phrase, right? That's the big difference,
Ah,
right? They're getting rid of the 12 seed phrase that you'd have to remember, and it's pretty much a passkey is stored on your device and securely in the cloud or whatever you want to say there, and that's one barrier to entry, right? People don't have to worry about, oh, if I lose my keys, I don't have access to my funds. And even if your phone was to get destroyed, if you go get a new phone and you bring all your info over, from it, on the cloud that's downloaded, then you'd still have access to those funds. So there is that level of security. It does make me wonder, to some extent, adoption wise, how much it's really going to play, because I still think Coinbase is going to have to market this, right? Like I'm still
yeah.
waiting to see Coinbase market the wallet and really trying to bring retail in. But as far as like so far from what I've experienced, it's easy to just get it started to fund it. Like literally the second step was fund your crypto through Coinbase or through a debit card. That's easy. And then once you're in it, really, you have the browser and the DeFi setup where it shows you the top, DeFi apps for trading and swapping. It shows you NFT marketplaces that you can dabble in. So to me, it's just going to be a really cool way to for a lot of the things building on Base to kind of get their name out there and be front runner instead of just maybe a lot of the legacy things that are already on Ethereum.
Mm. Yeah, I have to check that out. So after this, I'm gonna go play around with that and set that wallet up. But it's great that these options are coming up where it's moving away from the crazy passphrase. And don't get me wrong, like that's important, but if we can do it better and make it easier for people, outside of early adopters like you and I, but maybe my mom and dad, or whatever it
Exactly. I mean,
is.
you have
Yeah.
to, right? It has to be simplified to where people don't feel this uneasiness that they can lose everything.
Yeah.
And there has to be some, there has to be some, trust that you can actually, custody your own assets, but there still should be some just make it simpler for people, because that's the biggest hurdle I think that we still face as far as getting retail really invested. Is most people, if you ask them, hey, do you buy crypto? They'll show you their Coinbase wallet and they just or their Coinbase account, and they just leave their assets there. They don't know what to do with them. And I think this is a good, in between step of hopefully being able to educate people like Coinbase already does, kind of with the earn and learn thing. But it'll be, like I say, it'll be interesting to see how they market, how Coinbase really pushes this new wallet to really help people, custody their own assets.
Yeah, for sure. Now, along with the meme coin frenzy and celebrity meme coins, we're seeing meme stocks starting to rip again, like GameStop and Roaring Kitty's back. A ridiculous amount of money this guy's investing. Even I saw, I think E-Trade was threatening to kick him off the platform. Gensler
Yeah.
was on TV this morning, I think, talking about it. It's wild, man. But while I'm not like participating in it, I'm watching it and realizing signals of a bull market
Yeah.
and more to come.
Yeah, it's the irony is literally level 1000. Like, I mean, seeing Gary Gensler and Jim speak on Squawk Box this morning about how Wall Street doesn't trade against investors, and this reason, Gary Gensler saying the reason why crypto and all these things that you're talking about are bad is because they don't get proper disclosures and yada yada yada. And then you have Jim over there saying that a bonk ETF is should be the next logical thing. I mean, it's the irony in what they're saying is because like they act like there's no shady things going on with Wall Street, and Roaring Kitty and what he's done, with this whole GameStop AMC frenzy is just showing that, like, hey, I like Wall Street is manipulated, and it's hedged against the average, investor, and it's meant to scam the average person who comes in and has no idea, right? Because there was, like, when I was back in trading mostly stocks, I was doing due diligence, right? I was looking at profit and banks, earnings statements, and listening into earnings calls and all these things, and then I'd buy a company that was doing well, and then all of a sudden it would tank a lot. And the reason why is because they're short sellers, right? They know that retail's coming in hearing all these good things about companies, but then they're shorting it on the back end because they know that they can suck you in. So
Yeah.
it's just funny that Gary Gensler continues to act like the SEC is protecting investors with these disclosures and with all this stuff, when in reality they're not. I mean, you have the Nancy Pelosi's, you have
Yeah.
all these people who are making tons and tons of money because they can affect policies, right? They get to vote on things that will affect these companies. They're not being looked at, but Roaring Kitty and the people manipulating GameStop are. I mean, it's, like I say, it's ironic, what they're doing, but I get it, right? That's their bread and butter. They want to protect their way of making money. They don't like what crypto's doing. They don't like the
Right.
power being shifted. And, it's challenging the establishment, I guess you could say.
And it's funny, Jim Cramer, and Gensler, two people talking about this because Gensler has his long history with MF Global and all kinds of corruption and stuff like that. And then, of course, Cramer, inverse Cramer, he is setting up exit liquidity for these Wall
Exactly.
Street guys.
Literally, like every single time he mentions
Yeah.
something, even when he mentioned Nvidia, he was like, "Oh my God, I'd buy this." When it was like 900 or 1,000, it went back down to like 800 in the weeks after. Now, yes, it's back above 1,000, so you'd been fine still buying, but like it's they play the same role that a lot of KOLs or influencers in the crypto space play, where like, hey, if they're tweeting about it, if they're shilling it nonstop, it probably means it's about to dump
Yeah.
because they're needing exit liquidity and they want you to go buy it. And so it's to some extent it's very very similar as far as what happens on Wall Street happens in crypto. It's just crypto, it happens 10 times fast because crypto trades 24/7, and that's just the name of the game right now.
For sure. Yeah, it's crazy, man. So, like, are you anticipating like this bull market's gonna go wild? I think I am. I think the liquidity cycles, the election year cycles, the halving cycles, all these things, if you line them up, is showing that this market's gonna rip over the next 12 to I think 18 months. I don't know what the ultimate top is gonna be. Some people are charting like middle of 2025, some are saying Q1 2025. but I'm ready for higher gains. My portfolio looks good right now, but I'm ready for higher
Yeah,
gains.
I would agree. I think we're 3 to 6 months away from a blow off top, a true blow off top. I think it
Wow.
could come as early as like Q1 of 2025. I think is probably prime time for something like that to happen right after elections and stuff. Especially, I think if
Mhm.
Trump wins, I
Yeah.
think that's something that it would just, especially when you look at some of the other, some of the charts I've been following. One very interesting one is the Bitcoin to the M2 money supply, and
Yeah.
that one just broke out of a long consolidation period. And we know that, the government's going to continue printing money. It's the only thing they can do. The
Of
Fed's going to
course.
do it. Like, rates are going to get cut eventually. So you're going to see that QE come flooding back into the market. I think I saw this morning that Canada cut rates for the first time already. So you're already seeing governments around the world weaken, and, they can't keep this up for long. And so I give it 3 to 6 months. I think the next 3 months might be really well for Ethereum, right? I think it's about to have a big run, especially if you look at the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart. You
Yeah.
think the
Bullish.
ETFs, yeah, the ETFs just got approved. The inflows that are projected to come in, I think, could be a supply shock that we could see there. That's why I'm uber bullish on base. I'm ready to see my base bags moon, and I think they will. And yeah, and then after that, you have elections. Like I say, that's going to be a huge reason for things like Solana to pump again with Trump and Boden and all of their stuff. And yeah, like I don't know, it's going to be very, very interesting. I know what's coming after. It's not going to be fun, but like I say, I think the next 3 to 6 months should be fairly, fun. I think Bitcoin gets close to 90K, 100K. That's my conservative target for Bitcoin. I think Ethereum could double at least. So I'm thinking anywhere between 7 and 10K for it. And then, trickle down effects of meme coins, and, pick your other, layer one or whatever you're in. I think it's going to, chances are it's going to go up. Just depends on how much.
Yeah, and you mentioned like the Ethereum spot ETF approvals, and then I'm sure those are gonna get launched pretty soon. We got 50% of the approval, and then the Bitcoin ETF inflows are on the rise again. Yesterday,
Hmm.
I think it was the second largest day. I saw the guys at Bloomberg report. So we're setting up for that big move, and I think the big thing I want people to make sure they do have a plan, know what your plan is, because it's going to go wild and your emotions are going to go wild too, because FOMO, greed, and all these things, right? But it doesn't last forever. So you make sure you're dollar cost averaging out as you are dollar cost average, as you have been dollar cost averaging in.
Yeah, I think there's many accounts that I follow that I saw last bull run, right? That I was just following way too many moon accounts, like way
Yeah,
too many ones that gave unrealistic price targets. And I
exactly.
think that's the biggest thing that changed me from last cycle to this cycle is I'm following a lot more even keel, like, hey, here's my realistic price target for Bitcoin, my realistic price target for Ethereum, like, and here's where I'm taking profit and I'm ready. Like last time I was just so sucked into the hype. And I'll be honest, there's going to be a lot of people who are, that X liquidity this cycle, and we'll have to go through everything that we went through in the last
Mhm.
bear market. But for
Right.
those veterans and those people who've been in here since 2020 and you rode that last cycle all the way up and you rode your bags all the way down, just realize we're a lot further into this bull run than most people admit. And that's why I am counter thinking that, most people I think right now are saying because of the 4 year cycle and all the halving and all that stuff, we're not going to see Bitcoins blow off top until November, late next year, 2025. I don't think that's happening. I think we're going to see the blow off top happen either in this year, very, very soon in this summer to fall, or possibly winter up to, very early spring of next year. And I would be very surprised if we're not in a bear market or starting of one come, late next year. And I think that's what's going
Mm.
to suck so many people in is the price of Bitcoin could run to 100K this year. And then you're going to get, oh my gosh, guys, if you look at the historical data, technically we shouldn't hit a blow off top until November. So that means Bitcoin's price is going to be 500K or a million. And the thing is, like, you're going to get that euphoria, like paradigm shifting talk, and everyone is going to be shilling it all the way from the BlackRock and Larry Fink to to your brother who's a taxi driver. I don't know. It's like everyone's going to be talking about it, but that's where you got to like step back. You got to have your plan ahead of time
Yeah.
and know to take profits because like I say, get Bitcoin might not fall, crazy like a lot of other things, but there's so much fluff in the space
Right.
that the carnage from this bull run is going to be bad. So, move into, solid assets at least if you're going to ride anything down, ride Bitcoin and ride Ethereum, I would say, but I wouldn't be riding much else.
Yeah, and look, as someone who's been here for multiple bull market cycles, I still have those feelings like, oh man, what if it goes higher? And I'm looking at the charts, but emotions, right? Your
Hmm.
brain is just like wired to, oh man, I'm gonna miss out, or what if I, but I've learned my lesson, and one way that I process it is I think back to like the 2022s and the 2018 and 2019s, how watching my
Bad.
portfolio drop, and I'm
Yeah.
like, fuck, I should have taken
Yeah.
profit. It's
Yeah. I mean, I
yeah.
even did it recently with one of the
Yeah.
tokens that, I mean, I'm still in, right? It's right here. It's called Higher. It's on base. I made a lot, right? And I got kind of caught into that, like, oh, we have a lot of things coming for Ethereum. I did sell some, but I bought back in too early, right? And that's the thing with FOMO is even when you sell, you end up buying in, when it goes down maybe 30%, 40%, when
Hmm.
it's really still going to go down 80, 90, and you should still be patient. It's patience is the hardest thing because you don't want to get left behind when it starts to make that next move. But that's the name of the game. You really have to have a plan, I think, before you even start, like price targets. Where am I going to take profit on X, Y, and Z? How much am I going to take? Always leave a moon bag just in case so you don't feel that FOMO. The one thing, before we hop off the topic of the ETFs, the one thing I think is going to be interesting with the Ethereum ETFs, as far as a selling point, is I'm pretty sure all the staking stuff is what was taken out to get these
Yeah.
things pretty much approved. So it'll be interesting to see, is that going to affect inflows that are projected. I think I've seen most reports saying the first 5 months, anywhere between 3 and 5 billion worth of inflows into these ETFs for Ethereum. And it does make me wonder, is the ability that they won't be able to stake it going to play into the decisions on if how much people are willing to put into these Ethereum ETFs? What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, I'm talking to actually Nate Garachi at the ETF store tomorrow for an interview, and I'm going to ask him the same thing because
Mm,
I don't know if that diminishes the amount of inflows that comes in because I can't earn the passive rewards. Why do I go buy that when I could buy it directly and stake it on the protocol or whatever? But then again, I'm also thinking there's many investment advisors and wealth managers who are probably like, I don't even know what the hell staking is, but I want to get exposure to the asset so I can make my clients money. So I think it's hard to tell.
mm,
And I'm going to try to ask some of these experts, but I don't know if it's going to affect it as much because I think staking, if the SEC still hasn't provided clarity, they still treat
mm.
it as a securities
Yeah.
operation. So if they are saying you can hold the asset, no problem in ETF, but no staking, folks may be like,
Yeah.
all right, no problem. We'll just make money off of the
Yeah.
trading it.
And I honestly think with looking at Bitcoin's inflows and what we've already seen there, like the whole narrative of why would they buy an ETF when they could buy Bitcoin itself obviously has been thrown out the window because there's tons of people willing to buy the ETF
Yeah.
instead of just buying Bitcoin because they don't want to handle, custodying the asset and
Right.
everything like that and all the risks that come there. So I still think we're going to see massive inflows with Ethereum once it does launch. I did see a tweet and I was going to read it. Because it was SEC Chairman Gary Gensler says that the next step in the ETF approvals will take some time, hinting at a potential slow walk of the S1 approval process. So it will be interesting to see, when do we actually get these things launched and going live? I've seen some reports late June, I've seen late July. So it'll be interesting to see how long it takes. I think either case is still bullish for Ethereum because the longer they delay it and the longer Gary Gensler tries to stall it, I think is just going to put up more demand. And then once they go live, that's where you get, supply and demand are going to come at each other and you're going to see the Ethereum price take off. And like I said, I think the ground is laid for Ethereum to have a massive move in my terms and what I'm seeing.
Oh yeah, I'm ready, man. I got some ETH bags and holding for a long time. And I didn't necessarily need the money in the past cycles. I did take some profits, but I was like, you know what? It's at a price level where I don't know if I want to, sell all of it. I'm gonna hold for future cycles, kind of like Bitcoin. We know some of these smaller altcoins which are cheaper, it's easy to go in and out, but ETH, when you get something that's like 4,000, 5,000, and so forth, it's harder to go in and out of it. But yeah, I'm ready for like an $8,000 to $10,000 ETH.
Yeah, and the thing is, I think that's a realistic a price target. Now, there's going to be all the people out here who are saying 25, 20K. I don't know, just like the people who are saying, a million for Bitcoin or 500K for Bitcoin. I think those are a little far fetched, and definitely not going to probably happen. And if it does, it's going to be it would be very fast and very fast back down. But I think 8 to 10K for Ethereum is realistic. And the thing is, like, if you look at a lot of charts as far as like Ethereum altcoins, they have not really had that next big leg to set new all-time highs like Bitcoin has. And that's why we know the bull market's somewhat coming to an end, because Bitcoin runs first, then you get Ethereum, then alts, then everything just goes bananas, and then it dies off and we get crypto winter. And that's why I'm saying we're getting very close to, I think, the second stage, which is Ethereum runs. And the thing is, like, when Ethereum runs and then everything starts running after, that stage is not nearly as long as what it took for Bitcoin to run.
Right.
And that's why I'm saying, well, you've already had a year plus of Bitcoin moving from that bear market to the highs it's at now. And I think coming very soon, we're going to, everything is going to go parabolic. Everyone's going to be an expert, and
Yeah.
we're going to have some crazy price appreciation.
Yeah, man. It's crazy. And then we got to talk about politics as the last topic, because something very interesting is happening. And, we were talking about Gensler and the approval of the Ethereum ETFs. And I think through reading the tea leaves and what people have been saying is that the pressure started mounting when the Democrats flipped on Elizabeth Warren and Gary, and they were like, yeah, we're going to repeal SOB 121 in the House and the Senate with big time Democrats like Chuck Schumer. And then they voted in the House to pass the FIT crypto regulation bill. So Elizabeth Warren and Gary Gensler have lost the narrative, and the pressure is on them. And then Biden, obviously, following Elizabeth Warren, vetoes the repeal of SOB 121, which you mentioned earlier. You're going to lose the crypto vote, man. Even if your crypto's number 3 or 4 on the list for certain people, that group of crypto voters, whether it's 1 to 3% in a tight race, it's going to make you lose.
Yeah. And honestly, so far with what I see as far as, and I'm not a huge political person. I kind of stay pretty neutral as far as it goes, as far as what I believe and who I follow. But it seems to me like it's going to be a landslide for Trump. I mean, it seems like the Democrats are really just stacking everything, against themselves right now. And Biden is not really helping his case at all, I would say, in many areas. And so, like I say, I feel like it's pretty. I'd feel pretty confident if I was Trump and his, his side in looking at this coming election. You have other guys like Deaton running against Warren, and I just think there is a lot of energy going to that side to win a lot of elections. And that's why I think, like I said, I could easily see after elections the market being very bullish, because things, we start to get regular clarity. Gary Gensler gets fired, right? You start to see people put in places who are pro crypto, and just the euphoria around that, and the idea that, hey, it's here to stay, like mainstream adoptions now. We have, the governments, and we have regulation behind us now. And I think that's what could really propel markets to just do, parabolic and crazy things. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see come election time if Biden changes any stances, if he does kind of get warmer to crypto. But I don't know. It just seems like he has, him and Gensler and Warren have just cemented that, they're just going to try to stifle crypto as long as they can, which makes no sense to me. If you love America and you want America to succeed and be a place of innovation and creativity, I mean, I don't know. It blows my mind.
And honestly, I don't even think it's Biden. I haven't heard Biden say jack about crypto. Like, I never even heard him say the word crypto. Like, I can't even think of that, right? Or Bitcoin. I don't know if you recall anything, but I think it's Elizabeth Warren, because she has the control of the whole financial services. I think I forgot who had talked about it. The people in DC were saying like the deal she made with Biden was like she was going to drop out of the Democrat race and support Biden, but he had to make her king of the hill on the financial services stuff. So
Yeah.
and she helped appoint Gary Gensler and so forth. So I think it's Elizabeth Warren. I don't think Biden wakes up like knowing what the hell crypto is or what's happening.
Yeah, I don't think he knows anything about crypto. I mean, I couldn't imagine him actually having to read a teleprompter that is all, crypto focused. Like
Yeah.
he would probably be, I guess it depends on which Biden, is talking. But I feel like each time I see him come on, it's like sometimes he looks like completely lost and has no idea what the heck's going on. And then sometimes it seems like he's coherent and like well versed and knows what he's gonna say. So like I say, these elections and or these debates that are about to happen are going to be very interesting, and I know a lot of crypto people are going to be tuning in to see the tone as far, and you just know, Trump, the games he plays. What won him office back, when he won last time, was the fact that it felt like he was one of you, right? Or one of us, right? The people. Like he was going after, the politicians and going after all those people and not afraid to say crazy things, that we would all want to say if we were there. And he's doing the same thing. I mean, I've seen so many videos of people saying like he's getting convicted, like he's one of us. Like you don't ever see politicians and presidential candidates get actually, obviously the thing he got put in, jail for or whatever, or being convicted of is not what many would hope maybe, but it just goes to show that he's fine kind of being dragged through the mud. And like I said, I think it's going to end up helping his case further on in these elections because people are just they're going to side with him and be on his side, I guess you could say, more than maybe what Biden, because he just seems cold and indifferent, right? To me.
Yeah, yeah, no, and part of it is like with the Biden issue is like we need young blood, man. We need younger people who look. I'm not hating on boomers. I'm not hating on older people, but come on, man.
No,
Like
we do. It's okay.
world is
It's okay to
changing.
hate on boomers and stuff like that because like they don't, it's just like Gensler, watching Gensler and Kramer like squirm on
Yeah,
national television because you can see they're losing power. You can
yeah,
see they're losing the grip that they've had with Wall Street and the monopoly they've had with all these corporations and all these big businesses that just control everything about America. It's like if you love America, we need younger people in with newer, fresher ideas that actually care about, where we're going, because the boomers don't really care about where we're going. They're almost at the end, right? And
right.
so that's why I just, I see the whole crypto movement, and it's what still keeps me into crypto is the fact that like this is the new generation's economy, right? It's and I think one of the guys and it's the reason why I believe in base and I like base is Jesse Pollock. He does a great job. He was on Bloomberg yesterday. I just think he does a great job at rallying people behind the idea that being on chain is going to stimulate the next creator economy, and it's going to be like the dot-com bubble. It's going to be like coming online, but now it's going to be on chain, and you're going to see hundreds and hundreds of things being created, built that are, that do the same thing as Web 2 and legacy systems, but better in a more transparent, decentralized manner. And it's just more fun. Like that's the reason why I love, the idea of Hire, one of the meme coins that I have a lot of money in. And it's because I honestly believe that there are things being built that are better, like I said, than the Web 2 counterparts that are out there. And I think it adds a whole new level of skin in the game, maybe would be the word, when you play a part in how these things are starting out. So it's just going to be really exciting to see over the coming 3-6 months what this space does and where we're at later this year.
Yeah, man. Exciting times ahead. Folks, like I said before, and David mentioned, have a plan. We've
Mm.
been through this before, so if it's your first time around, I got a spreadsheet. I know how much I'm cashing out at, and you can put your sell orders and all that. And just, you can't passively do this. You got to pay attention. Now's the time to pay attention. Look at the charts, follow quality people, not just moon boys. And
Yeah. Read Tony's book, Rethinking Crypto, because that will give you some good ideas of how a bear market can happen and happen fast, and why you don't want to be caught in, the debacle of all the scams and all the bad things that go on. So, make sure you're educated. That's the biggest
yeah,
thing, is like if you're educated in the space and you're like even if you're watching content like this, I mean, just make sure you have level-headed people who are not just moon posting all the time, because there are so many scams. I still think one of the largest meme coins on base is a scam, right? I mean, I'm not going to name names. I don't want to throw, actually I will. I'll call it. It's Brett. Don't buy Brett. It's a rip off of Pepe. Like,
Oh
I
yeah.
think I think the big accounts that are behind some of these, like they have a lot of money. They can manipulate the price to make it look good. But like those are the accounts, they're not scared to rug you at the end of the day when the
Right.
market shifts and the tides turn. And you have to be willing to see these things for what they are. And so make sure you're just following solid people, solid charting, and have realistic price targets. And I think you'll fare well over the coming 3 to 6 months. I know I
Okay.
will be saying, I'll be posting when I'm selling and when I'm completely out, and I won't be ashamed of it. I'll let everybody FUD me in the comments about how we're going much
Right.
higher, and I'll be sitting on my bags. And when I'm in Bora Bora in 2025, sipping
Yeah.
margaritas on the beach, and you're bag holding your bags, you'll understand why.
Oh yeah, I'll be doing the same. I've been telling people like, hey, I'm taking profits here.
Yeah,
I'm laddering out. So yeah, I think it's good because I think we are the balance to the scammers and the moon boys and so forth. Like, hey, you got to be logical about this stuff, and you got to look at the charts. It's not just
yeah.
this thing doesn't keep going up. Anyway,
Mm.
David, always great, my friend. Thank you so much. Everybody, check out the next block YouTube channel. Link will be in the description.